So often we're able to be loving, kind, gentle, and compassionate towards other people, but yet we simply do not treat ourselves nearly as well. So today we're going to talk all about how we can learn to foster true self-compassion and how this practice can greatly impact our happiness, our well-being, and even our overall life satisfaction. Stick around. Welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Nena and I'm a life coach that specializes in personal development. Here at this channel, we talk all about our emotional well-being, understanding our own psychology, and leading our best life possible. So if you aren't already a subscriber, please go ahead and become one. We definitely want you to stay connected. I think we are all quite familiar with our inner critic, that little voice in our head that is always judging us, that is criticizing us, and even demeaning us in some situations. It's always making us feel that other people are better than us, that we don't measure up, that we're never really going to get things right. But interestingly enough, we never seem to really judge other people that harshly. We are much more likely to offer them forgiveness or understanding, even in situations where we would never really even consider to forgive our own self. And I think this comes down to the fact that so many of us lack genuine self-compassion. So what exactly is that, and what does that really entail? Self-compassion can be described as an expression of empathy, understanding, and concern for oneself. It involves actively trying to reduce our own suffering and to provide ourselves with love, care, and support. And just by hearing the definition of this, we can imagine how differently we would be able to feel about ourselves and about life in general if we were able to truly offer ourselves this type of nurturing. Research has shown us that this practice can yield many benefits, including reducing anxiety, depression, fear of failure, guilt, and shame, and can enhance both mental and physical health as well as relationships. But if this is a concept that's actually foreign to us, or if we've been going in the opposite direction, it's going to be a skill that we truly need to develop. And luckily that is completely possible. So let's go ahead and look at 8 different strategies for fostering genuine self-compassion. The first part of the process is going to be self-analysis. We need to figure out how it is we are actually treating ourselves from day to day. What are we telling ourselves? What are we thinking about ourselves? And it is helpful to really use some deep introspection and to go ahead and write it all down. Really observe your thoughts and observe your behavior, because we need to have a starting point. We also need to acknowledge that so often what we tell ourselves is in no way accurate. These are irrational thoughts. They are automatic thoughts and beliefs that we have a lot of times that have no basis in reality, so we have to learn to question them. Of course, if we are telling ourselves that we are unworthy or that we are not deserving of forgiveness and love, it's going to be difficult for us to offer ourselves self-compassion, but that is never the case because we really are worthy. So we really need to think about what we are telling ourselves day to day and to learn to question that. The method that I use for doing this, and the method that I strongly suggest to you, is called cognitive behavioral therapy, and that's just a process of questioning those automatic thoughts and those irrational beliefs. And I made a video on it, so I'm going to go ahead and link that down below. If it is something that is not familiar to you, it is truly life-changing. But again, it all comes back to truly really having that good self-analysis to figure out where it is we are starting from. The second part of the process is to figure out how it is you want to be treated. How do you expect other people to treat you? Are there any words or actions that would be healing to you in your times of need? And then you want to sit down and see if there is a disconnect between how you are currently treating yourself and how you would like to be treated. Another part of this process is to imagine ourselves as a child, to really connect with our inner child, because it's very easy to be loving and compassionate to a child in need. So we can kind of think of ourselves in that exact same way. And we can learn from this exercise what, again, it is we need to hear, what we need to feel, how we need to be treated to feel better. And we can really start to implement that in our own day-to-day life. The third thing that we can do is to give ourselves permission to make mistakes. We need to understand that perfection is not possible, and we need to stop holding ourselves to this ridiculous standard. Again, we don't expect other people to be perfect, yet we always expect our own selves to be perfect, and that is simply not possible. We are human beings. We are going to make mistake after mistake after mistake in our life, and yes, we can learn, but we are never going to be perfect. That is not a standard that can be reached, and a lot of times we can be more compassionate when we can understand that we are holding ourselves to an unreasonable standard to begin with. The fourth part of the process really goes hand in hand with that, and that is to forgive ourselves for past mistakes. We need to let it go. We have to accept the fact that we did the best we could at that time. Maybe we are a completely different person now that would never make those same choices. But at that point in our life, we made those choices. So we have to offer love and compassion and forgiveness to our past self, who was merely doing the best they could at that time. And self-forgiveness really is a huge part of the process of self-compassion. The fifth thing that we can do is to learn to truly practice mindfulness. And I know I bring this one up a lot, and it's simply because mindfulness truly enhances so many aspects of our life, and learning self-compassion is absolutely no exception, because when we are not practicing mindfulness, we are in the past, we are in the future, so we are punishing ourselves endlessly for things that we can no longer control or that have not even happened yet. So if we could bring our focus back to the here and now, it is a lot easier to be loving and compassionate towards ourselves, because we are living our life minute to minute to minute, which is exactly where we need to be. The sixth thing that is incredibly helpful is to learn to have a positive inner dialogue. And I'm sure when you did that exercise at the beginning, where you listed out how you normally treat yourself, how you normally speak to yourself, you saw that most of the time it was incredibly negative. And you can see how that affected you as a person. And now you can see how it would positively affect you if you were to learn to be encouraging to yourself, loving, and again, compassionate to yourself, to give yourself positive words of affirmation, and to truly learn to be your own best friend. The seventh thing that we can do is to journal. We want to journal not only our emotions and our feelings, but also our progress on this new journey of self-compassion. So we want to think about how we are feeling day to day, how we are doing, how we are changing, if this is a difficult process for us, or if this is something that is coming more easily than we thought it might be. And then we want to also get in the practice of really viewing what we are saying through a lens of self-compassion. So we want to look at what we are writing and seeing if we are truly really addressing ourselves in a loving manner. And if not, try to slowly make corrections in that and see where we could make improvements that would be more self-compassionate, more self-forgiving, and more self-loving. And the eighth thing that we can do is to truly take care of ourselves, to practice incredible self-care, not just sometimes, but all the time. Because when we do this, we remind ourselves that we are valuable, that we are worthy, that we are deserving of being taken care of, mind, body, and soul. We are a precious being, and we are more than worthy and deserving of self-compassion, of self-forgiveness, and of self-love. And by making this a ritual, we can really start to hone in on this importance. So just remember, however, that self-compassion is not something that comes naturally for every person. For many people, it really does take a lot of practice. It takes effort and time. So have patience with yourself, but remember that you are more than worthy of self-compassion, of self-forgiveness, of self-love, and certainly of self-acceptance. So I truly hope these 8 strategies are helpful to you in building this skill so it becomes second nature to you. So as always, I truly hope this video was helpful to you, and if it was, please like it, share it with someone else who may need to hear the same message today, and also do become a subscriber if you aren't one already. We definitely want you to stay connected, and I thank you so much for spending time with me today. Have an absolutely amazing day.